championship ring takes a long time.
I don't agree with Rizzo a lot, but today Rizzo is 100% right. I would get rid of Zach Prescott. I would get rid of CeeDee Lamb. The man have paid money for years, ever since 1999. He ain't got out of the first round like Rizzo said. Get out of Rizzo. He's right, and y'all need to look at y'all coach. He ain't what he's supposed to be. You get rid of him like this year.
Chris, I like you, but I think you've been Wally Pitt. You've been off way too much lately. You let Nick showcase his talent. Next thing you know, Nicky's taking your spot. You might want to
All right, let's do it live out at the Cross Country Mortgage Campus. Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner, your Cleveland Browns. I am merely Bo. He is the great Z, and a luminary right out of the gate, Devin Bush, who's become quickly a friend of the program.
No
Every
doubt.
time I see him, I light up. Your second appearance here that we've had, the first one during camp. You're vet material here now.
For sure.
We're talking August 20th. What is this part of camp like for you?
Yeah, this is probably the best part of camp. You transition into the season. You can say all the dog days have kind of been the dog days. You kind of focusing on game planning and scheming, and you got a good hold on, what's the team look like, the identity of the team, and I mean it's just a process you just keep rolling into through the season.
So this is being treated as the first regular week. Like today would be a Wednesday. We'll call it in the regular season.
For sure.
It's Tuesday. Okay.
For sure.
So you like it. So that's good. And so now we turn a little bit of our attention to the Dallas Cowboys and the things that matter, and that's got to be exciting. Does it feel long to you? It feels long to me. I don't know. Greenbrier to here, it just feels long.
It flies, though. Every year you before you go to camp, you're like, all right, let's lock in. Then when you get into camp and you start practicing, and the minute you blink is, all right, we're getting ready to play week 1 preseason. And after that, you're like, we rolling. So it goes by pretty fast, but it's a heck of a process, though, for sure.
And for you coming into a new team, which, you started your career with the Steelers, last year Seattle, and you get to go back to Seattle here this weekend. But does that kind of make it not as necessarily monotonous for you? Because you are, in many ways, you're learning a new scheme. You're learning some new terminology and learning new, techniques within your role. So maybe sometimes when you're busier, it goes faster.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. That makes sense. Because I'm here and I got something to look forward to. I got a challenge each day with the new terminology, new people, new scheme. I guess when you're sitting someplace for 4+ years, you're like, all right, I heard this already. Let's speed this up a little bit. Can I go do this? So, yeah, it's definitely been keeping me locked in. Definitely keeping me on my toes for sure.
Dev, it feels like this system fits you like a glove. I mean, you seem so comfortable, really all camp. But every time I look out there, I see you bouncing around making plays. It seems like it fits you like a glove, man. What is it that you like so much, and is that an accurate portrayal?
Yeah, man, the one thing I really loved when I first got here, like day 1 OTAs, was they gave us a huge install. This is us right here, and I'm looking, it's like 25 plays deep, and I'm like, thank God I came early, But then on the back end, they're like, everything that we're putting in right now, everything that we're installing right now is never gonna change, and that's one thing I can say, it never changed. So, you're able to lock in and hone in on the different calls, and you start understanding, what your coach likes to call, and then you get to watch game film from the previous year, and you see the same exact calls, same exact adjustments and terminology. So you start picking up on it a lot faster than, you got one call one day, this call one day, the next call, then all this bouncing around. It was super consistent on the calls and what we were trying to get done during camp.
And this defense encourages you to go find the ball and to play fast and to run and get it. You're not having to kind of read what's going on in front of you. Nobody's catching and reading. Everybody's just going, and it seems like that suits you very well.
Yeah,
too.
definitely. I mean, the best thing for a football player, especially when you got speed and quickness, is the less you think, the faster you play. It's almost like a predetermination. And some of the coaching points in the room is go faster. And if you hear that as a player, it's like, all right, go faster. And you can't be wrong going fast as a fast player. So, it helps. It works out. And, then after that, you just, small things, critique. Okay, you see this, you see that. This is how you should play it. This is the next step, So it's just a continuous trial and error with this defense because there's so many different things that you get to do and so many different ways you get to play different, styles of offense.
What did you learn last week with the time against Minnesota about this defense?
Man, we really rowdy. We in your we in your face for real. Like I remember I first got here. Schwartz was like, we're attack defense in your face, and that was on full display. That whole joint practice, and that was the time we get Miles on the grass. You get some of the older guys, Shelby on the grass. You get Q on the grass, Mohurst, and you get to play behind these guys. That's job is to go wreck something. And you get to really get a real great feel on, okay, this is what it feels like. All right, this is what Mo likes to do. Okay, this is what Miles likes to do. And then it just keeps growing and growing and growing. So, man, we in your face. So be careful. Be careful out there.
We have a very big T-shirt industry in this town.
Yeah.
We really rowdy.
We really rowdy.
On a T-shirt, rowdy
really
bunch
rowdy.
defense.
Yeah.
I like that rowdy. There's something there, buddy.
Nah, seriously. They don't call the dog pound for no reason. Huh?
Yeah, I like that.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Are you sometimes when you said you get to see what Miles does? Sometimes you're like,
Yeah. I'm in a
and
whole,
you've seen TJ Watt.
exactly.
You've seen some great
That's
players.
that was my next thing. I've been across the way, and I came across the way, and I get to see two defensive players of the year, and I'm like, yo, those are two completely different players, but they so special in their own little ways, and it's crazy just to see the difference in just how, the play style and how they prepare, get off and counter moves. So it's like you learn a lot just as a player. Like, damn, like I didn't know you could do that move in that type of situation.
He also bends in ways that
his-
defy
his
logic
size.
for
It's,
his
it's hard to
size.
compare those two people because I remember, as a rookie and, as I was going, Miles Garrett, TJ Watt, Miles Garrett, TJ Watt. And I never really got a chance to really be around Miles like that. But just to see the comparison, there is no comparison because they're two different players.
Yeah, both produce at just
Yeah,
an absolutely
At
elite
the, end,
level.
at the end of the day, they're going to have plus 10 sacks. That's a given. So it's like,
When you think about what this defense has in front of it, obviously what it was a year ago, you're in addition to this defense. We've had some injuries we've had to deal with too. I mean, we were talking like last week, like 5 or 6 guys you consider like starters moved in there. Have you guys and Coach Schwartz, have you built the quality depth that's required? Because one thing we learned last year, as you start to make a run to the postseason, is guys are going to get nicked.
Yep.
You have got to have guy behind the guy who can go. Are you seeing that at a satisfactory level?
yeah, for sure. In our room, all the guys play different spots. We playing. Everybody has two different spots that they play that they've been learning. Of course, you got a main one that you learn and that you get good at. But we developing a good number of depth, a good number of players because the team we also have is a young team, but we have a great sprinkle of veterans, that are able to drag along guys or show guys, teach guys, set them to the side. Hey, try this. Hey, try this. So it's like that constant motion of old and young and old dog teaching new tricks to 'em, So it's a constant learning process for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I think we have great depth. I think we have great players, and we have a great scheme that's going to allow the players that we have to do what they've been doing their whole life and their whole career.
With some of those injuries, how valuable has it been for you and Mahmoud to really get all that time, all those first-team reps, all the extra work that you guys have probably gotten because of that?
It definitely plays a big role into, like you said, just schemes just fitting me and me looking the way I look is because of that opportunity.
Yeah.
And just going out there and just trial and error and just learning and just playing fast.
How many times did Coach Tarver show you stand up A.J. Dillon, 250-pounder in the hole in that linebacker room? Because he loved that play.
Yeah.
He
for sure.
loved that play.
Nah, we definitely had a nice little time in the room on that play, but I had a nice little time watching it myself. I didn't watch that play over like 30 times. I'm like, that's A.J. Dillon. I'm like, that's a big boy.
Yeah, that's a big one there. Hey, so we're headed to Seattle. You spent some time there.
Yep.
For this guy, like you got a free Friday night. You got some recommendations.
Yeah, we're gonna
places
get out of the mix.
for
I
the
think,
big fella to
I think
get
we're
to-
in Bellevue. I think
Bellevue,
Oh, my uncle lives in Bellevue, yeah.
Bellevue's is flooded with a bunch of good places. They got the broiler room. It's like the top floor of this hotel. Fire.
Give me
Fryer.
those.
Yep.
It's a Brad Mellon special right there.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
See, then they got STK. It's
Yep.
like a new steakhouse.
we
It's
went
pretty
there
good,
last
yeah.
year, and
Fire.
when you played you guys, it was right around Halloween.
Yep.
And we went to STK. It was
Fire.
me, Chris Rose, his wife, and Big Drew.
Yeah.
And it was an awesome meal, but every server
Yep.
was in costume.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like dress for Halloween.
Not for children. It
It
was not a night to have the youth of America in that restaurant.
All hot red like the devil, you know?
Oh, yeah. All of a
The
sudden
kids
we
at
were
home.
looking, and I'm like, I just saw Drew be like, and I'm like, oh, man, what's going on in here? Yeah, sure, we'll
that's
get a
great.
steak.
That's
Sure,
great.
why not? Yeah.
Devin, it's great to see you,
Nah,
buddy.
appreciate
I hopefully this becomes regular because love talking to you, love your spirit, love what you've brought to the team. We thank you for your time today.
Thank you for
Stay
having me.
healthy, keep producing, brother. Good to see it.
Will do.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Let's
you
go.
having me.
That is great. He is quickly becoming a great friend of the program. Linebacker Devin Bush, who has been awesome throughout camp. Give you an idea of where we are right now in terms of today's practices. This is the second to last day of training camp here at the Cross Country Mortgage Campus. Practice today at 2 and then Wednesday at 1:30. So that'll be
That's
what you
right.
have to look forward to today.
And I think
All
one of the reasons it's been a little bit longer this year is because we were at the Greenbrier, so we didn't have as many days in front of the fans. Normally by this week it's kind of shut down,
Yeah.
and you're totally into the business of getting ready for the season. But I think we've got these 2 extra days here today and tomorrow, but it'll be great to get in front of the fans. You guys get some juice from that, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Warming up with no fans is super quiet. It's probably our 3rd day practicing, and we're tired of hitting each other and seeing each other. So get a new crowd noise out there, some new faces and stuff. So it's good for us.
All right, there you go. Devin, thanks again
Yep.
so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
We'll play a little higher or lower coming up next. Some press conference for you to get set to as well. We're off and running on a Tuesday. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Browns fans, come party with Josh Cribbs, Kevin Mack, Joe Hayden, and more. True Fan Travel hosting premium ticket packages for Browns fans in Vegas, New Orleans, Denver, and D.C. Flights, hotels, tailgates, tickets. It's all taken care of. Visit TrueFanTravel.com today and reserve your ultimate Browns travel package. 2 of them left, my friend. It was great having Devin Bush in with us. I like him a lot. I like his play. Like his spirit, like everything about the kid. And
What's not to like?
A lot to like there. But what he said, hey, this is more like game week. It kind of hits.
It is, and that's why I say it is, typically at this point of the training camp that you are not having fans here. And so you'll have 2 days of fans here. But, yeah, you're going to be shifting some of what you're going to be doing in anticipation of the schemes you expect to see from the Dallas Cowboys. And so these are important practices. You got basically 2 weeks now to really get ready, and you've been doing little things here or there sprinkled throughout that are focused on the Cowboys. But you got 2 weeks to go, and as we know, you got 2 weeks to go and try to maybe even find out who may or may not be playing left tackle for you in that football game. So there's a lot of work to do. I think it's good. Seattle, you wish you were getting kind of a similar defensive front or a similar look to Dallas, and you're not, as we know. But that's all right. You're going to see that in our practice is probably a little bit more like Dallas than what you'll see. But yeah, this is now they're trying to get on what will be the regular schedule for the season. And today being Tuesday for a Saturday game, so today is like a Wednesday in season. Then tomorrow will be like a Thursday in season. Thursday will be like the Fast Friday, and then we will get on the plane and head out to Seattle. So yeah, you're getting into it now a little bit more. I know they had a walkthrough yesterday, walkthrough today, and now we'll have practice coming up at around 2 o'clock. But yeah, you're starting to get now game ready. I think you've got, and we went through it, and you're pretty sure who 50 of your 53 are.
Yeah.
There are a couple little
Not much.
things that'll be based upon, how
I like that guy's vibe.
tremendous the head vibe.
A lot of good.
Yeah.
I mean, just the strut, all of it. Right? Am I wrong?
No.
Tell me I'm not wrong.
No, you're not wrong.
Just
And
gorgeous,
very
flowing.
very nice guy, very full of energy.
I said
Full of
he has a
life, yeah.
100% approval rating by me.
Yeah.
I like all of it.
Yeah.
Everything that's happening there.
He gave a sweet speech in our last organizational meeting. That was
He might be
it fit the
nickname
vibe.
worthy. I've not met him, but I like everything about it.
Yeah. He was
I'm gonna have to
he was
work
with the Cavs before he came here.
Correct.
I remember
And he was
seeing him
highly
at Cavs
successful.
Games. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that guy.
It's
I like
a
this guy.
He kind
fantastic
of is
addition.
like in charge of like the vibe, like customer
He's-
experience vibe.
He's a
He
really
feels-
good guy.
Yeah, I'm pro. I liked everything about it.
He
I
could
liked
be in a
everything
Wes
about it.
Anderson movie and would be just an absolute hit. He could be in a Tarantino movie. He'd be a hit.
Yeah, lot of operations
Like
there
I
that
could
work.
I could see him with Zissou.
No, he'd definitely be with Zissou, Team Zissou, loping around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like a lot about that.
Same.
You know what Devin said before you were en route, and Devin was down here a little early, and he was talking about, like, from their standpoint, from his standpoint as a veteran, like, this is on to the Cowboys. That's
Yeah.
where they are. Like, that's where he's at. Like,
Yes.
the regular season, let's go. Now, the crazy thing is we're going to finish this up in Seattle on Saturday night late, middle of the morning here,
Yep.
middle of the night here. And then you're going to get back, and then you're down for 2 weeks.
You're practicing, but yes, you don't have
You
another
don't have a game
contest.
for 2 weeks.
Correct.
Like, you're going to go 2 weeks without games. You're going to have. Think about this too from a just a player standpoint. The Bengals play Thursday night football,
Yep.
so they're cut loose at home. They're cut loose Thursday night at midnight. They're getting an extra 3 days to
Of
prepare
preparation. Yeah,
for the
and
regular
it's-
season.
By
which
the
is-
way,
and rest, preparation and rest, reset, all
what's
those things.
dumb about this is I don't know if you remember, but it was in those many years ago when there were 4 preseason games. The last preseason game, everybody played Thursday night,
Yes, that's right. In the old days,
and it
yeah,
should
you're
be
right.
the same. Everybody should be playing this
should not-
preseason game on the same day, whether it's Saturday, that doesn't, or Thursday, whatever. But everybody should be playing that preseason game on the exact same day.
I couldn't agree with you anymore. I think it's pretty wild that you're getting a 2 or 3 day. I mean, from the Bengals to be done at midnight in their own beds, sleeping at 1 o'clock Thursday night in Cincinnati, to our team getting back at 6 o'clock in the morning.
If that.
If
that.
yeah, if that. Yeah, actually, probably more like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning on Sunday.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big swing, brother.
No, it's absurd. And now we don't even have it as bad as the Patriots and the Commanders play at 8 p.m. on Sunday.
Wow.
That's got to be a network dress rehearsal game like the 49er game this past Sunday.
They don't
On
even know.
Fox. I bet that's like an AFC dress rehearsal or an ESPN
Yeah, you're
dress
probably right.
rehearsal.
That makes
Because each network has one game. That
Yeah.
Look at
No,
how
I-
they don't even know how to make sense of the fact that we're playing at 10 p.m. They list it before the 1 p.m. games, even though it goes chronologically on the scoreboard. That they're
Everyone's like, "Are you sure?"
yeah. So the Niners and Raiders, it turns out, also play at 10 p.m., but that's 2 West Coast teams, so it's 7 o'clock local for them, but they play on Friday.
Yeah, Friday
We're
versus
the
Saturday
only-
too, by the way.
We're the only team in this predicament.
So this was my theory on why this is taking place, or maybe some of the thinking. This is an NFL Network game nationally.
Yeah.
Okay. I am wondering if they are test driving the 4th window. Is there an audience for 10 o'clock kicks in
No.
the preseason? I think there will be in the NFL.
There will be the audience.
Because they've never done this before.
This will be
You've
watched
never
in
taken
Cleveland.
an East Coast team
Yes.
and played them on the West Coast at 10 o'clock in the final preseason
No, because
game.
it's an
No
outrageous
one's done
thing
that.
to
It's
do.
a stupid thing to do. So why would you do it? How did it come about? Well, my theory is they're trying NFL Network saying, hey, if we have NFL preseason game, one starting at 7, one starting at 10, now maybe there's 2 windows that we can sell, put one of them on NFL Plus. Maybe there's a bigger audience for this than we think. Because here's the deal. You're right. People in Cleveland will watch. You're bouncing around. If you're me, and there's still a lot of people like me, not as many as there used to be, that are in a cable world,
Yeah.
and NFL football pops up 10 o'clock on Saturday, yeah, I'll see. What's this about? What do we got here? There's going to be some of that. There's going to be some of it. I'm telling you, I think it's a 4th window test drive for the NFL Network.
That's fine. It just didn't
I don't
need
know
to be
why.
with us.
No, I understand
It should have
that,
been
but
Seattle and
in order
Denver.
to have the conversation, we
A
have
West Coast game.
Yes.
No, but I think that would have done it, though, because that doesn't test it. Because it's 7 o'clock for them. They had to take a bigger market team from the East, one that has a huge fan base, and put them West to say, hey, does this work? Is there
Well,
anything to
all right,
this?
so
Who
I
would
would-
watch NFL preseason football? Who's guaranteed to watch? Browns fans. Let's take the Browns.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think-
the Browns,
yes.
Steelers, Bills, Packers. Those are the teams that could have gone out there and played.
Here's the thing that bothers me. Okay.
That you would have accomplished those things.
Colts, Bengals, short travel. Bears, Chiefs, short travel. Jags, Falcons, short travel. Dolphins, Bucks, short travel. Niners, Raiders, not as short as it used to be, but that is short travel. Panthers, Bills, short. Vikings, Eagles, that's longer. Rams, Texans. Rams going to Houston, longer. Ravens, Packers, not bad. Steelers, Lions, nothing. Chargers, Cowboys, longer but not bad. Giants, Jets. That's what this game is supposed to be. Giants, Jets.
That's what I'm telling you
Ravens,
why this has happened.
Commanders. Browns, Lions.
Yeah. I've just given you the answers to the test of why this is
I
happening.
know. I don't like it.
I don't either, and I wish it wasn't you guys having
It
to
should
do
be
it.
us.
I think it's stupid, but I understand why it's us, and
Well,
I think this is why they're doing it.
To play off of that, I mean, we are a high
We're a draw, baby.
on NFL Network anytime we're on. Why do you think
Of
we're always
course.
part of that Saturday triple header?
Of course.
Like,
And who's crazy enough to be locked into a preseason football game starting at 10 o'clock? Browns fans.
yep.
Yes,
They're locked in.
that's right.
So they're going to get a number. And they're not chasing that much. I don't know if you saw the ratings from over the weekend. The Fox dress rehearsal game, that was 49ers and
Saints.
yeah.
I
So
think.
that was the leading audience view of the weekend. I saw on Sports TV ratings today it was like 4.5 million was the number on that. So from all of the stuff that I did on the Big Ten Network and the Big Ten and like what constitutes a ratings win, in order for there to be like advertising buy-in, the real minimum threshold is between 3.5 million.
Yep.
That's really the number you have to be at. If you're in there, then you're a draw. So when people say like, boy, it'd be nice if, well, here's the best example. The reason Ohio State isn't playing USC, Washington, UCLA in year one is because Ohio State can play Iowa and draw 7 or 8 million.
Right.
Okay? They can play Illinois and draw 4.5. Okay? So you don't need to pair them with a big guy to make a nice TV show. Same, I think, is true here with us. Now, this could all be nonsense, but just connecting dots, I don't know. That's what it seems like to me. And knowing how these television networks work, I think they're thinking they're going to get a big number at 10 o'clock and be able to trumpet, hey, 2 million people watched the Browns and the Seahawks on Saturday night at 10 o'clock Eastern.
The thing that makes the most sense about what you're saying is that this was an out of left field last second change.
Right.
So it makes sense that they would say, well, no, we need to do this for TV. That's why we're doing it, because otherwise it makes no sense. And it is they've done a disservice to the Cleveland Browns. Now, I don't think that that's going to have a lingering impact by the time we get to September the 8th against the Dallas Cowboys. In fact, it shouldn't. But it could have been easier. And by the way, I like some of the traditions that were made. For example, the Battle of the Barge between us and the Lions.
Or
Like, that
going to
should be-
Chicago, or Chicago
But that should just
coming
be
here.
every preseason
Right.
should almost be like you play the same teams
Yeah.
every single year. Like we play Chicago, Detroit,
Yeah.
and Buffalo.
You're correct.
Every
There's no
year.
reason to go.
There's no reason to have this get all wild.
No.
You know,
there
it's
isn't.
for Seattle. It's unfortunate for them, but then so they play what the Niners, the Broncos.
No, you can't
they
play
can't
your
play the
division
Niners, so
in
they
the
play the
preseason.
Broncos,
The Chargers, the Broncos, the
and-
Raiders.
and the Raiders. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of those would be. So,
It just
no. And it is a it's a disadvantage for sure.
No.
Us versus Bengals, that's a big difference.
You know where the disservice comes into play? like we're gonna land and our guys have to cut 40 guys.
Yeah, you're right.
Like that's
So let's look
that's
at
a whole plane ride home. You're exhausted, and now you got to make decisions on people's futures.
So the Cowboys are at home on 4 o'clock on Saturday, and we are on the road at 10 p.m. So they don't have any travel.
Yeah.
Same day will be the last day that they played a football game, so at least that is somewhat, even though they start
And
6 hours early.
They have to come to us.
We're going to finish the next day.
We will finish the next day.
Yeah.
It will be.
Mapped out the streaming schedule today, and I was like, oh,
This will be the
1:30,
This is definitely the first time that I've ever done a game that'll start on one day and end on another.
Yeah, because the
for
Thursday
sure.
night games usually are done by 11:30, 11:45.
Yeah.
Yeah, you to get into that.
Same with Monday night.
Yeah, it's late. It's late. So, and then for us, what exactly are we going to see? What are we, what are we going to do at left tackle? Like that's real, that type of stuff. So it's one of those things where there will be a lot of eyeballs around here on this because we want to see 4 operate the offense.
Yep. Now, it'll be interesting when Kevin Stefanski said all starters should expect to play. Does that include Myles Garrett? I mean, we heard Chris
No.
Rose yesterday say absolutely not. Does it include Denzel Ward?
No.
Remember last year, didn't Denzel get dinged against Kansas City?
Yeah.
We
no,
lost
I
a
don't.
couple guys.
I don't need to see any of that. I don't need to see Denzel do anything. I don't need to see Myles do anything. I'm good.
I don't really need to see anybody on our defense. I'd like to see our offense play a couple of good series and get them out.
I'll be honest with you.
One good series.
You remember the the scene in Anchorman where he drops the "Go blank yourself, San Diego," and then he comes off and Ron goes, "I'm gonna have to fire you," and he goes, "Bing bong bong, you're fired, Ed. I'm gonna fire you, Ed. Bing bong bong." So I like that bing bong bong, like that. If you get a bing bong bong drive where it just goes score,
Out.
get him out.
Out. Of course.
Get out.
I think that's.
Get out.
I think that goes without saying.
Get out. Don't need to sit around.
Yeah.
Don't need to sit around for it. Look at these guys coming in. What do we got here? I feel like I've seen
They're
these
in the
guys in
lines.
lacrosse. What do they got? What's the name of these guys?
Says
It's like the
Saints.
Saints.
Saints. Oh, that's Rocky River. That's a Rocky River area. Kids showing up. Yeah. There you go.
We've seen a bunch of groups of youths.
It is
Come out.
Military Appreciation Day today as well, and I've seen numerous SWAT vehicles set up over there.
Okay.
I don't
I
know
like
if that means you can go play on the SWAT vehicles.
Oh yeah,
if
there's
you're
our
a
guys.
kid, but
There's our guys down there in the
yeah,
unis.
Yeah.
Looking good. Looking very good. Yeah.
This is a different group than we've seen in the
it's
past.
a large group.
You know what I heard today? The overnight lows in the 40s and 50s.
Windows
coming
are
back
open
next
it's
week.
I
nice.
know, but
It's
like
coming
this
back
is
next week.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We've never had this.
no,
I'm in a vest at camp.
yeah.
I'm in a.
Wait, we've been in times we've been in a swamp.
I'm in a Kokomo.
You
or
are in
whatever
a
this
Kokomo.
thing's called.
I don't think that's it, but I like it better. That would have been a better day.
Come down to Kokomo, Bermuda.
Yeah, that was that
Speaking
went.
of the
that
Keys.
was cocktail.
Yeah.
That
That's
was
right.
cocktail.
Speaking of the Keys in the Bahamas and
Yeah.
Bermuda, watch the first 2 episodes of Bad Monkey.
How'd it do?
I enjoy it.
Well, I love Vaughn.
I mean, you love
Vaughn's
Vaughn.
my guy.
And he's got some great banner. It's good.
Are they? It's set in the Keys.
Set in the Keys and simultaneously in the Bahamas with an old crusty fisherman as the narrator.
Do they get the sense that you're going to have is this a multiple season thing or is it one and we'll
I think
see how
it
goes?
definitely could be a multiple season thing
If
because
Vaughn is interested in
because if Vaughn's because he's a detective. So when you're a
that.
detective,
Oh, cases always come.
there's always right. There's
Yeah.
no
Best
shortage.
example of making a show of that is Magnum PI, where he doesn't even own the house or the car or anything, but basically gets to go around and solve mysteries and drive a rich guy's Ferrari and live in a rich guy's house.
Well, Vaughn does
Pretty good
not.
job.
He is not rich. He also does not have a car, and he is a menace to the wealthy person who
So
moved in next
is that
to him.
where
I like this.
was that where Axel Foley was born? You just kind of gave
That's
Beverly Hills Cop.
Dude, in the 80s, it didn't take much.
That was a
No.
good
It
formula.
was pretty easy. There was yeah, it wasn't that hard. Do you have a good-looking lead? Yep. Is there some good-looking female leads, co-stars we can bring in? Yep. Fancy car? Yep. What are we going to do? Go on adventures. Green
On
light it.
adventures. Let's go.
Green light it. But
Yeah.
stamp. Let's go. Do another one. How about this? We're going to have a black Firebird. Yep, it talks. Go.
We'll do it
Chopper.
live.
Go. We'll do a chopper. An orange Dodge Charger. Let's green light it. Let's do it. Well, that's exciting. I'm looking forward to that. I was thinking about Vaughn. He went in the Hollywood Walk of Fame this week. His star went on. We are of an age where I would bet a lot that our first experience with him was in Swingers. That was the first time I ever saw him. Was in Swingers. Swingers was a movie that in those days, for the kids out there, things weren't just available whenever you wanted them. It wasn't in theaters. It was one of those things that you started to get word of mouth on it. I actually read about it in Esquire is where I read about it.
Vegas,
that it was,
baby.
Yeah, and so, like, it started to get out, and I remember going to, like, Blockbuster and, like, trying to rent it, and it'd be out all the time once the word came out.
There were only a couple copies of it. It wasn't like a
one.
Yeah, it was like
One
copy.
and it was always gone.
Always.
So you could never get it. And then I finally saw it. It was tremendous. And then I went and bought it. I went and found it at like a Barnes and Noble or whatever, and actually bought the VHS so that I could watch it.
I
yeah,
owned it on DVD from.
Well, now, later,
days,
but I don't think there was. No, that would have been DVD.
Yeah, I had DVD.
Yeah, 90s,
sure.
it would have been DVD.
At
Would have
Columbia
been the
House,
DVD.
baby. That was
Yeah,
part
yeah.
of my. That might have been part of my
Oh, the
initial.
Columbia
That might have been part of my
House.
initial.
Here's what we're gonna
20 DVDs for $1.
Here's what we're gonna do for you.
Yeah,
You're gonna get 20 CDs, and you're gonna pay $1.
that's right.
Now, over the course of the next 3 or 4 years,
You can pay a lot,
you're gonna pay a lot for these CDs.
Or you're just not going to pay.
or you're just going to cancel it, which is better. Which is a better way to do it.
Well,
Yeah.
Columbia House still
How
trying to
did
track
that
him down.
go?
I mean, folks, we're old enough to remember when Netflix was basically a DVD rental service. You would be like, I like this, and they sent you the DVDs.
I thought Netflix. I wasn't a subscriber of that. I never really got it, like the notion of that I would want to do all of that. And if you would have told me that became this,
yeah, that they've got
no chance.
the WWE
I suppose
is
like
going to be there.
the idea that somebody selling books online would turn into the #1 consumer entity on the planet. So I probably wouldn't have had that either.
No.
But I'm excited for that. I'm excited for them.
Yeah,
I'm
that
gonna
was
give
good.
that
And
a
then
shot.
I was also told yesterday about a show, and I watched the trailer, and I'm definitely in on it. And I'm curious. It was out 2 years ago. A second season is coming, so that passes your threshold there. I will say this: the stars of the show are the dude, Jeff Bridges.
I know
and
what you're talking
John
about. The old
Lithgow.
man.
Yeah,
I
it
watched
looks awesome.
I watched it.
Not awesome.
The
Trailer looked great.
I'm
I
gonna
was
tell you
totally
what.
in.
It's an amazing premise. The first episode is stunning.
Okay.
Stunning.
Okay.
Like just
Yeah.
I'm in for all of it. Let's go. Give me more. And then it feels like they were trying to figure out. I mean, you'll draw your own conclusions. I think they were trying to figure out, is this something we can make more than one season while making the show?
And if so, we need to
Then we need to slow play some stuff here.
Yeah.
But the first is unreal. It's like
So you're glad you're watching.
Yeah,
You're
no, it's
eager
really
for
good.
season 2.
yeah, I'll watch. Yeah,
Okay.
for
All
sure.
right, all right.
It's been a while since I saw it. I watched it. When
I mean,
it
I
first dropped.
love the dude,
on
first of
FX.
all.
Yeah.
And and Lithgow is.
Yeah.
Lithgow
Well,
is a
it's
tour de
CIA,
force.
like
yeah,
it's
CIA.
Yeah,
right.
it's everything
yeah.
you want.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
all of those things. All right, there you go. We got.
There you go. We got a lot for
I have to tell this story.
Do whatever you want.
One of the beautiful things of coaching all the boys' youth sports through the years, other than hanging out with them, is seeing all these other kids that I've coached.
Yeah.
So yesterday was orientation day for 10-year-old Beamsy, 8-year-old Bootsy. So we did the orientation and kind of cruise around, get him into their classes, and I see this kid that I had him in baseball when he was really young, probably like 6 or 7, like that. Him and his dad and I coached, and I had him in baseball. And then I would see he always had just a huge smile on his face, like just pure joy kid, like just pure
Adult
energy,
life.
pure joy.
Love it.
One of Beamsy's good buddies. And so I saw him yesterday, and it reminded me we were coaching. I was coaching flag football at the time. He wasn't on our team; he was on the other team, and I was with our team. And it was early part of flag, and the coach on the other team was kind of getting fed up because they were kind of monkeying around with the count, and they kept like jumping. So instead of just saying like down, set, go, or set, go, or whatever, they would add stuff, right? Or there'd be a pause. So the coach is like, listen, we go on down, set, hike. You got it? Down, set, hike. That's it. Down, set, hike. My guy Nolan goes under center, looks around and goes, purple dolphin! Purple dolphin! So I saw him yesterday, and I just hugged him. I'm like, dude, I don't even know if he remembered doing it. His parents and I had a laugh about it, but it was one of those things. It was like this little kid was like, they just got done saying, well, you need downset hike, and he goes, purple dolphin, which meant nothing. Meant absolutely nothing. Look at
Be
that.
Rossi.
He's ready, living his best life. Got a nice
Nice little spring in the step. Yeah, so Purple Dolphin was
Purple
yesterday.
Dolphin.
That was pretty good.
That is good.
All right, we'll hit a little higher low. You're going to hear from Coach as well as we're inching closer to the start to the second to last day of training camp out here at the Cross Country Mortgage Campus. Listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Have it takes to beat out the competition under the Dog Dash Sweepstakes presented by Milkbone. For a chance to have your pup compete in the annual halftime dog races, visit clevelandbrowns.com/milkbone to enter, and check out more from Milkbone at your local grocer and pet supply store. Jack Conklin walking out.
We will hear from Coach a little bit later on
Just
the
in a
left
t-shirt.
tackle.
Just in a
T-shirt and shorts, and out here doing it. But yeah, good to see him. Good to see him.
It is good to see him.
All right, time for a little higher or lower, and for that, hello, Gibby.
Gentlemen, hi. It's Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday. That's all it is.
So
Nice
it's
little Tuesday.
all it is.
Yep,
At least
Tuesday.
the weather's nice.
Game 1 for NBC tonight. Wadsworth Grizzlies
Ooh.
coming to town.
Really?
Yep. Game 1. This one.
Are there a lot of Grizzly Bears in Wadsworth?
Are there a lot of Browns in Cleveland? Probably more Browns than there are Grizzlies.
Well, definitely.
The last name Brown.
Last name Brown, yeah.
Quite a bit of, yeah. No, I don't think so. I think you
No.
can hope for a black bear every once in a while, maybe.
I did see a nice black bear while I was in West Virginia.
Yeah. Yeah, you like those guys.
Yeah.
They're pretty harmless. No big deal there.
I don't need any. I almost ran into a skunk. We had the world's biggest skunk around the one night. It was the
In
length
West
of this
Virginia
case
or here?
in West Virginia.
Oh, yeah, because they're eating other rodents.
It was
I
enormous.
mean, think of the food supply down
Oh,
there,
man.
guys. Think about just all of the food just
Yeah, it
eating
was
off
not
of
ideal.
people's, all those cottages you guys are in. People sucking down drinks and all sorts of things, snacks.
Snacks.
Next thing you know, a little skunk gets to suck down some leftovers.
I saw a raccoon there, too, that was the
Formidable.
size of a German Shepherd.
Yeah,
that's
that's about right.
Those are Buddy Garrity had. We had that situation earlier in the spring with those that was a little bit dicey.
So the last game NBC had was just a scrimmage that he had the pick? Or-
Yeah. So
okay.
that was a scrimmage game last
All right.
Thursday or Friday.
Tonight it starts
This
for real.
this is for real. We're now we kept score on that one, but this one goes in the win-loss.
This goes in the
column,
record
and-
books.
and away we go. So
So it's
seemed
like
he was ready to
preseason.
go. Yep.
And now regular season.
Yep. Now
And they haven't started school, so you're not wearing the jersey to school
school
yet.
starts tomorrow.
Oh.
So yeah, there was a cackle coming out of me when I said, "Last time to sleep in, boys. Enjoy it. Hope you enjoy it, fellas."
They get to wear the jersey, don't they?
They'll wear
What
the
are you
jer-
saying?
Well,
But there's no school
There's no
today.
school, so they won't
Oh,
wear
he doesn't
it
get to wear it
tomorrow.
to school.
You have to wear it game day.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure, sure.
game
Yeah,
days.
so their games are on Tuesdays. So
Yeah.
they'll wear game days will be Tuesdays.
There's, Bootsy, there's going to be a time limit on video game playing again.
It's already locked out. Like you got the news of
Snacks.
it. Started. My mom.
Sad.
Aim goes to him today. She goes, "Well, get it in because it's going away tomorrow." So they're locked out.
Oh,
So I
Tough.
think it's like they could play Thursday night, but Sunday or Monday through Wednesday they're out.
So Bootsy's
locked
on
up.
today. He'll be on
Today
today.
will be
I'll
his
try to.
last
I'll
day.
see if
Well,
I can
he's
get
got
one in
big
with him.
practice for him tonight. He's got a lot going on. I don't know.
have they officially started?
First game Saturday for him.
How many laps have you made them run? Because you're coaching him
Lots.
still.
Yeah. Every time they walk back to the huddle, they run.
Is he still putting in extra work, or was that a
It was
short-lived
one day.
experiment?
One day. One day extra work. Next day, really got out there, put in a
Yeah.
real nice grind, had a little glisten of sweat. Then that was it. That's it. That was it. We're done. We're done. So no extra work. So
I could see Bootsy being like, "Listen, Dad,
We both
we
know.
both know I'm not going to the NFL, so like
I don't think he does.
Oh,
that
no,
yet.
no. I wasn't going down that road.
that's the road I'm going down."
I think we know who has the talent on this team.
Well, he
And-
may think that. I don't know. I think reality is different. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So yeah, that's a good group. They debut on Saturday.
I think Gibby, you should go walk down this aisle. I think you'd get a real nice reaction.
If you walk out of that door, those kids in the Saints uniforms are going to cheer you,
Yes,
Yes.
irregardless.
irregardless.
Good.
It's awesome.
That's an unbelievable moment for them.
It is.
And
It's
a
very good.
awesome memory.
These kids are crushing it.
By the way, practice pretty full. Stands are full. I don't recall seeing over on that
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of people here today, considering it's back to school week.
All adults, it looks like over there, right?
It does look
Well,
like, yeah.
That's
Not a lot of kids bouncing
dump
around.
the kids and
We gotta
let's
make
go.
sure we need to make sure there's no Dallas Cowboys spies over
Can't
there.
have that. Can't
No.
have that. No.
Over unders, the projected record and the over under totals from Las Vegas.
Okay.
CBS Sports' Will Brinson predicts every NFL team's record based on the over unders. Okay. We'll start in the AFC Norris division.
Yep.
It's the one we play in.
Yep.
The Ravens projected in Vegas 10.5.
Under.
Big number.
Under.
Higher or lower?
For the under or Brinson's projected?
Well, I'll go higher, lower on the over/under.
I'm saying I think they're going to go under.
Under 10.5, and he has him at 12-5.
12-5 is the record he has.
They have so much cachet that, and justifiably
Well earned.
so, but I don't think people – they lost a lot on defense. They lost their leading sack getter as an edge rusher. They lost Patrick Queen on the second level. They lost Geno Stone, who led the league with 7 picks a year ago, on the third level. They lost their defensive coordinator, who's now a head coach, their D-line coach, who's now a defensive coordinator, and their secondary coach, who's now a defensive coordinator in the league. Like, that feels significant to me. And their corners are older and more banged up than these. It just, I don't know, it all feels significant to me.
So I'm with you. I also think that the North, like you could put all of these over-unders at 9.5.
And I think that'd be an appropriate number.
And I think it would be about right. I mean, they are more bullish on the Ravens and Bengals than us, which by significant margin, which is a little surprising to me. But I'm with you. To me, they just feel like 10-7. I don't see any scenario how they're worse than that, but I do think that the losses are real, and I think just this division's a real one. They won the division a year ago, too, so they're playing a first-place schedule.
Yeah, they're not sneaking up on
no.
anybody.
Here's the other thing. They're acting like
lost a ton of things.
Derrick Henry is going to change the game significantly for them. Gus Edwards last year ran for 810 yards and 13 touchdowns. He's averaged 4.9 yards per carry for his career as a Raven. Like, yes, is Derrick Henry better? Of course he is. But it's not like we're talking about it's the same thing I said with Bijan. What's he going to do? Average 7 yards a carry?
Right.
You know, last year, by the way, he has led the NFL in carries in 4 of the last 5 seasons. At some point, he's going to have a cliff. Career low 4.2 yards a carry last year.
Yep.
Like, it's
he'll bounce back because with Lamar versus Levis and everything they did last year, and they have more weapons. But I'm with you. I think the defensive stuff is very real. I think they're 10-7 to me. I think under the 10.5.
So 10.5 for the Ravens and the Bengals, 8.5 for the Squealers and us, and Will Brinson has the gall to project us to go 7-10.
Put it on the bulletin board. I mean, come on. It's what I look.
Come on, Brinson.
This is a hey.
Yeah.
Come on. This team is going to have to deliver when it matters. And what's amazing to me is other than all the awards we won at the end of last year, there is absolutely no cachet being given to what this football team accomplished with the reigning #1 defense and 5 quarterbacks who played, 4 when games mattered, 4 quarterbacks last year. There's been no credence to that whatsoever. And people are ignoring, and I'll call it 4-1. It's not 5-1 because the Indianapolis game, yes, he started it, but that Deshaun Watson went 4-1 as a starter. This defense is #1. We've improved our skill position group. We didn't even have Nick Chubb last year. You'll have Nick Chubb for, I would assume, a portion of this season. It's a lot. That's, to me, it's like, I don't know how you look at this roster top to bottom and say, yeah, this team can't win. It should be 9.5. This team can't win 10 games.
You alluded to it a little bit, but here's the reality. The way that we view Watson's limited time here, mostly positively, you mentioned the 4-1 record, those type of things. The rest of the world views him as a detriment. We've been dealing with this all off season. He'd be ranked 25th among quarterbacks. Like, we saw this stuff. Like, so the way that Deshaun Watson ought to have a chip on his shoulder the side of the state of Texas.
Yes.
Because there isn't – the only thing that people come back to when they're critical of this team is his play.
Is him.
And it's if there was Flacco, even stuff like that. Like, they were better off with that in that situation with Joe. And so they are – when you look at this roster and they go, a negative is the quarterback play. That's a negative. And that's how this ends up. Well, 7-10 for him, 8-5 is the over-under. Nobody believes in 4 outside of people in this building and the people who are here.
But we're still top 12 in most power rankings in the league. This has us
right, but that's a little different too. A power ranking versus where you're going to end up in the standings because it doesn't take into account division you play in. Like, we still may be 12th in the power rankings and be 3rd in the division. The division's that good.
Oh yeah.
So
there's likely 3 teams will make the playoffs from this division, I would say, when it's all said and done.
I see no scenario how we're 7-10. I would go certainly over the 8-5. I'm with you. I think 10-7. I wouldn't be surprised if everybody in this division was between 10-7 and 9-8. I wouldn't. I just think they're going to cannibalize each other.
The
Pittsburgh's
Steelers
got
at some
the most
point.
issues, I would assume, but then they win every year. So I don't know. I assume at some point it falls off for them, but it doesn't. Bengals. I like the Bengals more than the Ravens. At the top of the division, I think they've actually. I mean, Geno Stone coming in on the back end. It's the best offensive line Burrow's ever played behind. which isn't saying much, but it's true. They got to get the Higgins thing or the Jamar Chase thing sorted out, but I think they'll be a little more consistent at running back, and then it just comes down to if Burrow's healthy. If he's healthy, he's great. He's just got to stay healthy, which is probably where it's at. But in terms of their roster, I actually like their offseason more than I like the Ravens' offseason.
They've had some injuries already.
They have.
What's kind of the – Ronnie Hickman's still not practicing for the Browns. It looks like Alex Wright also not practicing
I was going to say I didn't see a helmet with Mr. Wright.
What are they saying about – so they've remade their safety room, right? We know that. What are they saying about Daxton Hill's transition, Tony Brown not practicing today, about Dax Hill's transition to being a slot corner after his struggles at safety?
Be honest with you, I haven't drilled down on them that far to see where they are with that part of it, mostly just talking about the top-end stuff with them. I do remember talking with Mike Petraglia about it in the spring, who covers the Bengals, and their thinking was that this – but, it's always through black and orange-colored glasses that this is more of a natural fit for him than what they drafted him to be. And I'm thinking, well, hey, he's a safety out of Michigan.
He was a safety, and you drafted him to be a safety.
Drafted him to be a safety, so that didn't work. So they've obviously had to reconfigure.
Yep.
But people miss on picks. It happens.
Of course.
So they reconfigured and got in Geno Stone to kind of get in there, brought Von Bell back,
yeah,
so that
like
gives them the stability that they're wanting there. But I think they don't have Tyler. Boyd's not there anymore.
They don't really have a third receiver.
They need the Burton kid to go. He's the kid out of Alabama. They need him to go. They think he will. They think eventually will replace. T. Higgins will be the natural replacement there. But
he's very talented, but a lot of issues.
Yeah, I mean it happens.
Yeah.
I mean that's probably why he fell where he
That's
fell.
why
in the
it
draft,
is why he fell. Yeah.
Those things happen.
Toby Fields back to practice today.
Yes.
Looked like he was fully ready
There
to
you
go.
From the AFC East, gentlemen, just some other numbers that stood out. The Bills over/under were 10.5.
Under, I think too.
And Will Brinson has them 10-7, winning the AFC East.
Za'Darius is spraying these kids with water bottles.
So the idea that the Dolphins and the Jets are both 9-8. Miami goes 9-8. You might have to fire Mike McDaniel. I don't understand that. They're not going 9-8. They're better than that.
They're better than that. What does he have? The Jets
9-8.
Yeah, the Jets. If Rodgers is healthy, they're better than that.
Yeah, I think the Patriots are going to have a
finally.
Well, that's where you look at.
Finally, we realize the Patriots suck.
Yeah, they're bad.
Someone does.
They're
So
really
you
bad.
look at the AFC, right? And so you got 3 wild card teams.
Yeah.
It feels to me. Recent birthday, Dom, yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah, Dom's birthday.
No calf problem with that kid.
No.
He's always in a good shape on the.
Yeah, well, he's on his toes.
Yeah.
You have potentially, I think, 3 from our division, so that's 2 wild cards. You have potentially, if we're being honest about it, 3 from the AFC East.
Yep.
And then I think the West is probably a one-team,
maybe Chargers.
Maybe Chargers.
Harbaugh.
But one
We
lock.
play them, so we get to control a little bit of our destiny against them.
These guys could go like 13-4 pretty easy.
They
Kansas
could,
City.
yes.
Like if they want to.
Yeah.
If they want to go, they could really go.
And the South feels like a one team, although I think the South is a better top-to-bottom division than people realize.
I think it's much improved. I mean, it basically got a shot of adrenaline with that Houston draft that elicited them Anderson and Stroud.
Yep.
So that's a big part of it. The Colts, it's a lot on Richardson. I mean, if he's what they think he can be,
correct,
it's a lot on him. Jacksonville's the one that's interesting. Like Jacksonville 9-8, and like we give them the benefit of the doubt of the first year where Urban just messed everything up.
Yeah.
But really, they've been stable since, and it's almost like Houston jumped in their spot.
Well,
yes.
And if they don't, they just disappeared in the final 5-6 weeks.
Right.
They like the kid they drafted out of LSU, Brian Thomas.
Oh yeah.
He's supposedly been
quite good.
Quite good.
Yeah.
I mean, the good news is they recognize
they have a
garbage.
horrible offensive line, and I'm shocked that they did not address that. A horrible offensive line. By the way, I saw a stat in the preseason. Our line, it's us and the Jags in both categories, I think. In terms of pressure allowed, like pressure rate allowed, we're last. And in terms of yards that running backs go before they take contact, I think we're 31st. Preseason. We haven't played we haven't played our line though.
All right, let's just do this one real quick. Do you guys realize this? They predict there's only 4 teams with a predicted worse record than us, according to this guy in the AFC. 4 teams. Pittsburgh has got worse. Patriots worse. Raiders worse. Titans worse.
He has us with the same record as the Denver Broncos.
Yes. Same record.
7-10. The Broncos over/under is 5.5.
7-10. I'm not. If that happens, I'm not doing the show Monday. Not doing
Which
it.
Monday?
No Chief today.
Monday after 7 and 10. I don't need to see Chief. He's good. He's good. Got some work in. We got to be like the Falcons. Like we're shutting them down.
We've seen enough.
Shut him down.
We've seen
We've
enough
of
our
Michael Penix.
of our
We don't need to see-
2026
Do you
starting
think
quarterback.
he's going to start this year?
No.
I was
Are we
reading
sure?
some stuff about Cousins and like that he's like not all the way back.
He's taken every first team rep.
I know, but it's not. The zip isn't there. The location isn't there. I know he's taken all the reps, but like he hasn't been what they thought he hasn't looked that clean. Just reading about it this morning.
Really? I
Yeah.
thought people were pleased with him. He was loving Pitts.
He loves Pitts. Loves Pitts. Throws him all the time, but like in terms of the intermediate and deeper stuff, it hasn't been there yet. So I don't know. I don't understand any other reason why you would shut down a first-round.
So
pick
he's going to
quarterback.
start, and they're going to like wait until Cousins is ready.
Or maybe, who knows?
That
Maybe they think need
If
both of them. I
that
don't know.
organization is, they do some very unique things.
They do.
Is the way that I would phrase that.
Yeah, they do.
I mean,
We'll get to the NFC later this week.
All right.
I felt
All
like
right.
that would be a good conversation for later.
I like Chiefs over 11.5. I like Dolphins over 9.5. Us over 8.5. We'll have to do this when we get closer.
yeah.
Do the over under fun. All right, second hour of the program up next. You'll hear from Coach Stefanski from the podium. We'll also start to paint the pictures as training camp practice. Second to the last one is going to be taking place right in front of us. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
some light calisthenics on the far end. Attention for all you homeowners out there. You're looking for a stimulus package to upgrade your home's exterior? Look no further than my great friends at Renew Home Exteriors. Whether you need new siding, roofing, or stonework, the team at Renew Home Exteriors is going to have you covered. And here's the best part. For the month of August, you get a 10% rebate on your project and enjoy 0% interest for 5 whole years. So say goodbye to high interest payments when you choose Renew. Renew will even let you see how your home will look before the upgrade is done with that incredible 3D model rendering that you're going to get. So upgrade today and save big. Visit RenewEstimate.com to book a free estimate today on that. And now let's go to Coach Kevin Stefanski from the podium. About an hour ago, presented by Vivid Seats. Purchase your official fan experience package today for the ultimate game day.
The guys are doing a nice.
You're down 4.5 minutes.
To be more of a regular season schedule so the guys can get used to that type of schedule, also get used to the idea of getting a game plan, first and second down today, getting a third down game plan tomorrow, getting a red zone game plan the next day. So just really conditioning our bodies, conditioning their minds to be ready to get through a regular season schedule, if you will. So looking forward to that, looking forward to getting on the airplane, heading out to Seattle. Mike McDonald's a very, very good coach, as we've seen firsthand. Got a ton of respect for him. He's got a great coaching staff out there. So it'll be a great challenge for our football team, especially to go on the road playing a stadium that we know is very loud. So you have to deal with the noise conditions, the crowd noise, which is, again, excellent work for our football team. But we'll start that work really in earnest today. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Kevin, how did you feel when you saw the schedule that you had to go up to Seattle for a night game in the last game of this preseason?
Good question, Tony. Yeah, that was surprising to us. Typically, that third game you stay local, but why don't you hang out here on Monday? What the game's on Saturday, right? So we'll be pulling up Sunday morning around 8 a.m. Why don't you hang out and ask me that question then?
You had some control over preseason games.
Me too.
Do you feel in some ways that, I mean, is that taxing? To
No,
drag
it's
everybody
honestly
out
it's
there?
not a big deal.
Okay.
We're going out there a couple days early. We'll get used to that time zone. Listen. There are worse things in life. It's a nice plane that we're on, so it'll be fine.
As far as the plan with Deshaun, still to go?
Yeah. So all of our starters should expect to play, and then we'll determine who does or doesn't, how many plays they do. Like I told you guys, in particular with Deshaun, I want to take in all the information this week and really make a final determination later in the week.
How much he's going to play, or if he's going to play?
Yeah, I think both. I think, like I told you guys, you have a plan, but you want to make sure as you get through the week that you feel good about it. So we'll make that determination later.
If it comes to pass that Jed isn't ready for Dallas, would you consider an emergency start for Bitonio at left tackle?
Yeah, I think those are all things that are speculative and for me, so I really not really concerned so much about Dallas right this minute. Obviously, we've done a lot of work on them, but focused on Seattle this week.
You just say that Jermaine will be the first team left tackle this
He'll
week?
get some work in there, yes.
What have you seen from him, and is there a comfort level given the fact that he started as many games as he has?
Yeah, he does a nice job. He's really done a nice job since the moment he stepped foot on campus here, getting to understand our scheme, obviously familiarity with what we're doing, playing both right and left, tough guy, plays hard, like a lot of things about him.
Any update on how close Naheem Hines is to potentially returning for you guys?
He's working very hard. I don't have a date for you guys with Naheem, but works extremely hard. I get to watch him work, so he's doing well and progressing well.
Kevin, Miles Harden, it just seems like, has continued to make plays in practice, especially with Greg and Denzel missing some time. Just what have you guys seen from him so far?
Yeah, a very good young player, has made some plays in practice, made some plays in these games, continuing to get better, really fits in well with that group, so excited for Miles.
Kevin, where's Jack Conklin at as far as maybe returning to practice at some point? And also, if he is able to get back, do you view him as strictly a right tackle, or could he move to the left side?
Jack, again, a guy who's worked extremely hard all offseason, continues to work hard. We'll see over the next, I'm really focused on today and where he is, but I can tell you he's doing everything and more to get ready to play.
And then just, do you see him as a guy that can play both sides?
Yeah, again, all of our guys kind of goes back to the previous question about versatility. it's important at that position.
Do you need to see a significant more amount of Dorian and Tyler to decide what you want to do with your third QB?
Yeah, I think all of these practices, Mary Kay, all of the games, but just think about all the practices we've had going back to April. You're in constant evaluation mode with our guys. So everything that they get is valuable for me and them as well. So those are all determinations that will come later on. But I'm really pleased with how those guys are progressing.
Z, what's the timeline? You heard Coach there as our guys are down at the far end, starting to get warmed up here a little bit. What's the timeline on getting this roster locked in? Your final stuff now, you got some health stuff you're working through. We kind of went through it yesterday in terms of how many things are kind of up for grab or not. But is it by Sunday morning?
Well, the actual deadline is Tuesday the 27th. You've got to be down. Then waiver claims will run at 4 p.m. They'll be processed 4 p.m. on the 28th, next Wednesday.
Okay.
So you'll have the initial cut downs. Then you have the day of waiver claims. That'll be the first set because, remember, some people who make 53s will then be cut for waiver claims.
Right.
And then my guess is you will also have some moves in the event that you want somebody on IR eligible to return, that you might carry some people into the season on the roster. You know, some people will stay on PUP. Like my guess is Nick Chubb would be on the PUP list, so he doesn't count against the 53. But some people you'll want on the 53. You'll then place them on IR. You'll then have, the wink, wink, nod, nod deal with a vested veteran. I could think of like a Mo Hurst or a Shelby Harris, somebody like that, where they cut him, but they're on the roster basically.
Yeah.
So I think you'll have that all by next Thursday. I think that'll be pretty close to the team. Now the transactions might not take place until the following Monday.
Yeah.
So we'll say that the Monday of the Cowboys week, that will be your team that is getting ready to play them. It'll be probably set before that, but there might be some transactional moves that have to happen to make it a reality.
So I feel like cut-down days at 4 o'clock a week from today. There'll probably be a late afternoon practice because usually guys are out of the building.
I'm going to be like this, brother.
You are going to be. Well, you will have done it by then. It'll be done.
It'll be. I think I take flight at 3:45, so I might be.
Okay.
When?
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
You haven't put in for that.
You haven't put it. The United States Navy.
He's acting like he doesn't even know what we're talking about. It was announced by the former Secretary of the Navy on this program last week.
Previtz.
That's fine,
Lieutenant
but here
Commander
inside
Previtz.
the building, there's a process to.
He does not
filling
adhere
out
to processes, Gibby.
There's a process to filling out what? And it involves me submitting something to you?
A PTO request.
To you?
And I believe to your boss, who then tells me, hey, by the way, Nathan's not going to be here on this day.
I told you.
No, but I'm not your boss.
The secretary. Well, then what are you complaining about? Brett Rossi isn't coming over here and saying
you're not
need
going
a
to be on the show then at that
I think
point.
I could be. I'm going to ask him. I'm going to be at the place from 11 a.m.
No, we're definitely going to have to do a phoner. We got to do a phoner.
Well,
got to do it.
And by the way, we're going to
be co-hosting the show.
Yeah, I think I can. I'm going to try to bring my Conrex.
I don't think so. I think you're going to be.
I'm going to be at Burke Lake from 11 until the time I fly, which is 3:45. That feels like a long time. I feel like I'm going to be going through some things. But
you're going to go through some processes.
They also, the reason they're doing this is for the promotion of it. So I would imagine they'd want me to
they'd like it.
be talking about it.
I think it's pretty. I don't remember that at all. Like you just said, from 11, I felt like I drove up my car, got out of it, got in a jumpsuit, and went off.
It was like a Peach experience for you.
It really was. I don't remember any of this, and I don't know if I've just blocked it out.
Nope, that's it. I did that. I did that with the Golden Knights. I literally pulled up.
Come on.
And we got to ride in the big plane.
Yeah.
And they jumped out, and I was like,
okay.
I'm right on the edge. You guys enjoy yourselves.
It's crazy.
I don't need to do this. But I literally got out and
walked
in.
on. It was
same
like,
with
okay.
same with the rocket truck. Here's your suit. Put it on. Any protocols? No, because if we crash, you're dead.
You're dead.
By the way, we're already we already have there are going to be some videos. There's a lot of a plan already.
It's going to be very, very fun.
Fine. I just there's a procedure, and I don't know if you followed it.
This is not a man who adheres to procedure.
Oh boy,
you're above procedure.
Boy, am I aware of that.
There is no. They're separate
Everyone
procedures.
is aware of that.
Okay, I'm just
separate procedures.
Let me just hold on a second. Besmirching me for
Why
no
don't you
reason
text
is outrageous.
Your golfing buddy
Here
and just get okayed for everything.
This is earlier. Are you able to do this and this for me? Blah blah blah. Let me know. I said, yeah, man. Whatever you need. I say back to him, whatever you need. And then he's like, thank you.
I
And then
said
on
thank
a
you.
public
And then
persona,
the first
No,
chance.
no,
smacking me down.
I just said I'm not aware of a request for you to take the day off next Tuesday. It's a big day. It's cut down day.
I'm not
Cut down
taking
day.
the day off.
You'll be there.
I think I bet you are.
Nah,
I don't.
I sense a presence.
No. And I'm not.
Even when I'm not here, I'm working. I'm just I'm a workaholic.
You're the front-facing.
Oh my
You're the
God.
front-facing
What are you
face
drinking
of
in
the
that bottle?
organization.
Water, and every time
BS.
when I'm not here, I'm watching tape. I'm talking
Grinding.
to people. I'm grinding. I'm trying to get
Oh,
better. I'm honing
grinding.
my craft.
Easy, Seafood Tower.
Grinding. They're grinding.
Okay.
By the way, you know who's one of the beneficiaries of some of the things that I get to do? This guy right here.
Mr. Gibbe.
Looking a gift horse right in the mouth.
Right in the mouth.
Wait,
You
what
don't
is-
do that. It's a Montana phrase.
What?
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
It's a Montana phrase.
Yes.
Oh, Lordy. Yeah, here you go. You got a little. Well, we're working on the new kickoff.
Well, the
Hey,
wind,
here's something
The wind
for you-
is playing a factor.
Yeah, it
today.
is. Here's something for you to think about. Do you think that the new kickoff rule will make for more scoring in this league, and that perhaps certain people have not yet adjusted to the realities of more points being scored by this kickoff rule?
Yes, I don't know who those people would be.
The people who do the segment we just did.
Perhaps. I think that'll be something that's played out. I think if that is in fact the case that you have all these now, I think there could be a recovery touchdown at some point this season if somebody hits like a little liner in the middle that causes chaos. I do think you could be right about that. I also think that there will be an adjustment pretty quickly if people are just going to the house left and right, where you see people just be like, all right, fine, we're just starting at the 30 now.
Yeah, we're starting
And
to
the
do that.
NFL has already said even if it becomes just a full out of the back of the end zone, they're not going to change it to the 35, or there are no plans to at this time.
Yeah. It's still the 30 versus the 25.
Yeah.
There
Little
was
adjustment
something yesterday that ESPN said like the league was actually contemplating already moving like the touchback.
No, then they're not.
Well, they announced they're not going to this
Yes.
year, but like that there was already some discussion.
Well, I think they really want to have the kickoff, and
Yeah.
so
They want to have the play.
they want the play.
Yeah. And I don't know if you're going to – what do you make about – you've seen 2 preseason games with us doing it. What have you seen anything that you feel could be a harbinger of things to come?
Yeah, I feel like you even saw it just kind of on some pretty vanilla returns. You can still get it out to the 37. Like back in the day, if you started to drive the 37, it felt like, whoa, So, yeah, I do think it's gonna set up for the offense and make things more difficult certainly on some defenses with field position.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the expectation.
Yeah, I think you're going to get a little bit of that. I also saw yesterday we were making the comments about how Madden hasn't changed, how it still sucks from a passing standpoint. And then one of our loyal listeners said that they are bringing the college passing system to Madden.
Oh my God, that'd be awesome.
Which would be great.
When?
Because apparently it's happening soon. So that would be huge. I don't know why they didn't just load it
They're
with
just
that.
going to patch it up in the middle of the season.
Yeah, or maybe it's an option you can play with the college passing system.
I would love that.
Yeah, then you go 24 to 36 instead of 20 of 30 with 5 interceptions and 6 touchdowns, which is what happens now.
Yeah.
When you throw 50 touchdowns, you have 48 picks. It's crazy. Let the ball hit the ground, kids, a little bit. Nobody gets hurt.
I'd like to think you're at if you're throwing 50 picks, you're at 150 touchdowns.
In Madden?
Oh, baby.
I'm not at 150 touchdowns.
Spread it out and let's go.
It's a lot of picks. A lot of picks.
Jordan
baby.
knows what I do on offense. He's seen me be diabolical.
What's the operation?
Just throw it and just win. You never know where the ball's going, but it's going somewhere. And don't you come try to press my stud. I saw you try to do that at the top of the screen. Try to get him a little press coverage. I'm like, you serious, bro?
Seriously?
Touchdown. Got him.
Right over the top.
Got him.
Got him. That easy.
Got
That's
him.
it. All right, there you go. All right, we are doing some special team stuff out here. We'll continue to paint those pictures for you. You're listening to the second hour of Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Yep. And for a team of injured lawyers dedicated to every client every day, call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Elk and Elk is a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Our guys getting warmed up out here, individual groups, kind of working through a little bit of brief warm-up here. They do about the same thing every day. I see the same quarterback effort down here, and then the receivers here in front of us to get loose before we get into some one-on-ones would be my guess, Dr. Z.
Yeah, I mean, you could see some one-on-ones, or we'll be getting to some 7-on-7. We've already seen some special teams. What I'm looking at here right now with the receiving group is I do not see Amari Cooper. And
he is not. I've seen that from several, that he is out. In fact, I have a list for you, buddy.
Didn't Coach say that he was going to practice today?
No, I think he said they're doing better.
Okay. I saw him come out, and it looked like he was actually in the jersey, but I didn't see him with the helmet. But I don't have eyes on him right now.
Not practicing today. Coop, Chief, Hewlett, Hickman, Tony Brown, Dunn, Wright, Watson, Hudson.
Wright who?
Nathaniel Wright.
Oh, Nathaniel Watson.
Yep. Nathaniel Watson, sorry. Yeah.
Buki Watson.
Nathaniel Watson. And Hudson.
So Fields is back. You've got all your running back room is healthy, obviously, outside of Nick Chubb. Your linebacker room is getting healthier now that you've got Fields back. What about Hicks? Was he on that list that you read?
He was not. Now, that could have been an early list, too. Like, you don't know if it's complete.
Okay, I'm just looking for the linebackers. Those are the safeties. So still no DeAnthony Bell, still no Hickman, and it's getting late early.
Yeah, it is. Still,
I'm looking for the linebackers, but I don't really see
obviously no Denzel.
No Denzel?
No, he's not over there.
There's MJ.
Yeah, he's not in the mix.
I think Denzel is going to be just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, you're getting ready to it. It's one of those, I'd like to at least have, 2 weeks of everybody out there playing, everybody that's going to be out there getting in together. Now, what we're not privy to are the walkthroughs and things that are happening there. And I think that those probably are higher attended or have a higher participation than perhaps these practices do at this juncture.
And next week, the media and us included, we won't be out here for the entire day.
Right.
Next week, they'll practice Tuesday, Wednesday. I think Thursday they'll practice as well, maybe in the morning. And then, remember, it's basically a mandated NFL weekend off. Unless you're playing early. It's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're off.
It's so funny. I was talking to one of my buddies who's in the front office at Ohio State, and they were saying, I'm like, so what's the sideline pass situation look like for Akron? And he's like, dude, are you kidding me? And I'm like, no, I'm curious. Like, is anybody going? Anybody using them? He's like, we're sold out. Everybody's coming home because the whole league is off.
Oh.
He's like, we're going to have 110 Buckeye players on the sidelines for the Akron game because all of them are going home. It's the one weekend where they can all get home.
Yeah.
So it's like homecoming. It's become basically a homecoming week in the NFL or in college football, that opener.
So I have eyes on the linebackers now. I do not see Jordan Hicks out there. I see JOK, Tony Fields, Bush, Diabate, Honeycutt, Reed, and Caleb Johnson. But I do not see Hicks at this time.
There you go. In terms of who we can, nothing official, but just with our own eyes,
who we can visually see participating.
Who we can see and who is not here. As we go around the league, presented by Leaf Filter, the official gutter guard of your Cleveland Browns, there are 3 NFL teams who have not declared a starting quarterback for Week 1: the Broncos, the Steelers, and the Patriots. What's holding up the Steelers?
So let me give you. Last night we watched this game. I was at a bar.
Okay.
It was Bills Squealers.
Okay.
9-3 the final score.
Yeah, and
Bills.
Both Fields and Russ did not look great.
Fields 11 of 17 for 92. Russ 8 of 10 for 47, was sacked 3 times.
And I saw Orlovsky with a really good breakdown of
8 of 10 for 47.
Did you see Orlovsky's breakdown of Russ?
I did not.
So Mike Tomlin was talking about that, how do you run the operation? And one of the things that Orlovsky said that Russ has become, because you see 8 of 11 and you go, well, that's really accurate. So basically he went over a simple play where they've got a receiver on the left side running kind of like a flat out.
Okay.
They've got a receiver. They got a tight end over the middle running a hook.
and they got a receiver on the other side. And he called it a play you see all the time. And he said, look, on this against this coverage,
Curl
Russ
flat,
knows the
yep.
coverage, and this is a throw to the curl every time, and it's a gain of 8.
Yep.
The curl is open every time. He clears the linebackers, and he sits in, creates a pocket, sits down in front of the zone, and catches it. Russ, before that developed, he threw the flat,
already,
and they gained 3.
Yep.
He goes, this is a complete pass. That's the wrong throw.
Yep.
And so what he was saying is that this is what's happened with Russ, that over the last few years he's become this guy. Remember, let Russ cook, deep bombs, all that stuff.
To Lockett and Metcalf.
Now, in order to minimize mistake, he is making the easy pass way too often. And so it's not dangerous. It's all short. It's underneath. And so that's where the frustration.
He holds the ball.
He holds the ball. That's where the frustration is coming from with Russ. So, like, the idea that he hasn't been named the starter, though, especially how rough it's been for Fields from
it's
the
been
last
brutal.
10 days, off to a good start, and then it fell off a cliff. It's pretty stunning to me. It leads me to believe that maybe they're tantalized by Fields' physical gifts, and they're hoping that he makes some strides. I don't know.
But I will say this.
I think it means they don't feel like they have a starting core.
I don't know about their receiving core.
Their receiving core is not great.
Pickens.
And what?
And Freiermuth.
All the more reason.
That's it.
All
they
the more
traded
reason.
Deontay Johnson. It's
Yeah.
like Calvin Austin.
Des Fitzpatrick, Connor Hayward, Van Jefferson.
Connor Hayward.
All the more reason why Fields would give them something Russ doesn't, in that he is a dynamic runner.
Yes.
Like Fields could run for 800 yards this year starting 17. If he started 15 games,
For
he could run for
sure.
1,000
But if they're
yards.
playing that, if that's their
gimmick
offense, they're going to be bad.
Yeah, that's a gimmicky way to go about it. If they don't, this would be my thing if I'm them. If I don't have a quarterback, then I would just roll the dice with Fields the whole way and see if something comes of it, because there is no reason to play Russell Wilson. If Russell hasn't separated, he's not the quarterback of the future. It's diminishing return. Maybe you unlock something with Fields along the way. I would see no reason of playing Wilson at all. If it's not abundantly clear that he's absolutely the guy, then I would roll with Fields and hope for the best.
Yeah,
you can always bring Wilson in.
I'm with you. I agree. I think
it's like Jalen Warren had 1 carry.
Well, they're probably saving him. I mean, I think this is Arthur Smith now. They're going to run the ball a ton with Najee. So they may like Russ in that he's not going to do anything great, but he's also not going to
turn it over,
hurt him. You know, I mean, he had Mariota starting for a while in Atlanta with him.
Yeah, that could be. I mean, that's what Arthur wants for sure. So maybe that's the operation there. Broncos got to go with Knicks, don't they?
Who's even competing with Stidham?
Yeah.
I would play the kid. Why not? I would agree with that.
He looked good,
and then
too.
who's the other one?
Patriots. I mean, you got to play trade Drake May.
I think you do. Obviously, we love Jacoby here, but you also, who's he throwing to? Like, you can't just play the kid and put him in a situation that's going to give them bad habits and bad vibes and bad memories.
It very easily. I don't know their offensive line situation
but I know
enough.
But
I know they don't have much on the outside at all. So
Who's their number one receiver?
By the way, Denver's QBs, going back to Denver, Bo Nix, Jared Stidham, Zach Wilson.
Yeah,
go ahead and just start him. I don't know what you're doing
Let's
there.
go.
They at least have,
contain yourself.
Cortland Sutton. They have some actual receivers. There's Greg Newsome out there. So there are a lot of people. David Bell not practicing still.
By the way,
walking around.
Kevin Arnold, who's spinning the dials for us back at the ranch, listen back. Coach said Cooper was going to practice today.
Huh.
That's what I thought.
So that really did happen.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Well, he ain't.
No. Drake May's going up against Jacoby Brissett, Joe Milton III, and Bailey Zappi.
Who are there? Are you on their depth? Who are there? Give me their receivers.
Javon Baker, Kawan Baker, Kendrick Bourne, Keyshawn Boutte.
Keyshawn Boutte out of LSU.
Sure. Demario Douglas, Jalen Hurd, Jacquay Jackson, KJ Osborne, Jalen Polk, Jalen
Polk
Rager,
was drafted this year.
Tyquan Thornton, and David Walls.
I mean, that could borderline mushroom into a Bryce situation.
What?
Bryce Love or Bryce Young.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't think you can.
You got to be careful with that. You could have Jacoby go out there and suffer the slings and arrows, and then bring May on later in the season.
Yeah, which is I think that's what you might have to do.
Yeah,
I really
bad
don't-
habits, man, can go quick. They can go quick. You guys saw that, the sound with
Yes,
Tua.
we did.
What
Yeah.
I mean, when you see that,
go ahead.
It's a strange approach, man. You have to. I think one thing that's very important, and you talk to a lot of the coaches here who I have a great deal of respect for, is that you have to figure out how to. You can't coach every player the same way, and you
So-
need to understand how to reach particular players. And I don't see what was productive in any way about what Flores was doing.
So just for those who don't know, Tua was on Dan Levitard's show yesterday or the day before, and he asked him, what's the biggest difference between Mike McDaniel and Brian Flores? And Tua gave this incredibly eloquent answer where he talks about, well, just imagine if you were told, you suck, you don't deserve this, you haven't worked for this, you haven't earned this, over and over and over again, how would that affect your
Every
psyche?
day.
Versus, you're made for this. This is designed for you. This is everything we've ever wanted. This offense is perfect. And he goes, that's the difference in the two.
Well,
So-
did you see that somebody compared it to? You watched The Bear season 3?
I didn't watch season 3.
Okay, well, season 3 is very good, but Joel McHale, I think there are flashbacks either in the previous seasons, but anyway, was an executive chef at one of the restaurants that Carmi was coming up through, and basically was Brian Flores, like, you suck, you're
terrible,
horrible, yeah, just nonstop, just.
Was there
killing
ever
you.
a payoff of the other side of it, or was it always just you suck?
No, always you suck.
Okay.
And then they have like he's made it, and they have like a confrontation at the end that goes. It's unreal. It's very well.
Do you want to hear that audio?
Yeah.
We've got
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
audio
Yeah,
if
you
you
can
like
play
it.
it, yeah.
Kevin?
1 second, it closed out for some reason.
No worries.
But I do have it from, they played it actually today, and there's a Brian Flores response as well, if you guys
I'd
want
love
that.
to hear that too.
yeah.
Oh.
Let's hear it all in real time. I mean, people have a lot of respect for Brian Flores, but that sounds very much
All right,
like a
before we
defensive
play the
coach's
audio,
mentality.
Where did Brian Flores come from?
Patriots.
When
Bill.
he went- correct.
Yeah, he's with Bill.
Right. What is a hallmark of Bill Belichick's coaching style?
Definitely tough on your toughest guys, but I think he was tougher on Brady in public in front of the team than he was necessarily in private. This sounds to me more like
Could
in
have been
private,
both.
not for
Right,
show
but
for
Flores
anybody.
wouldn't have been privy to those conversations
Right.
that Belichick had with Brady.
I
and
do
I
think
think
it's interesting
I think the thing to remember about this is this: the magic of New England. It's Brady. Like, he took it. He
Yes.
took it. He was willing to take it. He took less money so their team could be better.
Yes.
He took the criticism publicly in front of the whole team. I've talked to a bunch of guys who have played for the Patriots. You have too. They all say, you cannot believe, like, he can talk to Brady that way?
Right.
Ask Gerard.
Yeah. So
You talk to
if-
Brady that way?
and-
You got to be kidding me. So definitely talk to me that way.
Right.
So you have to have somebody like Tom who's willing to take it. Okay, now have the Tom conversation. Where'd Tom come from? Tom wasn't the ballyhooed quarterback at Michigan.
No.
Wasn't
Drew-
even all. It was
wasn't
Drew
it
Henson.
Drew Henson, yeah.
Drew Henson was the ballyhooed quarterback at Michigan. Tom's a 6th-round pick.
My buddy stole Drew Henson's girlfriend.
Tom, it's
great.
an incredible pull out of your buddy to yank a
Showed
chick
up at
from
our
Drew
party.
Henson.
My buddy swooped in and took her.
That's an incredible drop in. Dynamite drop in. But then Brady goes to the Patriots. What is he? He's a 6th-round pick. Is he supposed to mean anything to Drew Brees? No. So
Well,
what's
so, yeah.
Brady? He's used to being browbeaten.
Yep.
Okay? To your point, you can't talk to everybody the same.
Right.
Okay? Like, this isn't that hard.
Totally. No.
This is not that hard. I have one more thought on this, but
you
first,
can hear it if you want
let's
it.
listen
We're
to
ready.
it. This is Tua on Levitard's show.
To put it in simplest terms, if you woke up every morning and I told you you suck at what you did, that you don't belong doing what you do, that you shouldn't be here, that this guy should be here, that you haven't earned this right, and then you have somebody else come in and tell you, dude, you are the best fit for this. Like, you are accurate, you are the best whatever, you are this, you are that. How would it make you feel listening to one or the other? And you hear it more and more, you start to actually believe that. I don't care who you are. You could be the president of the United States. You have a terrible person that's telling you things that you don't want to hear, or that you probably shouldn't be hearing. You're going to start to believe that about yourself. And so that's sort of like what ended up happening.
So Brian Flores has a response to this as well? Do we
Yes,
have that,
from
Kev?
the I Am Athlete podcast.
Okay, so here's Flores' response.
This is an interesting topic because it wasn't strained. We had a good relationship. It was a player-coach relationship. And I think in a relationship like that, the coach challenges the player, and oftentimes the player challenges the coach. I think there was a great deal of respect between the two of us. So you hear these crazy this narrative that's out there. But this is a young man who works, who developed and got better over 2 years. And, I think he's got a bright future. And I wish him all the best.
Okay, it's not a narrative.
Okay, he did
it's
not,
first-person account.
That wasn't addressing in any way, I don't think, what was actually said. Right.
It's not a narrative.
Not a narrative. It was his experience.
My account of the experience I had.
And it sounds like he didn't think you guys had a great relationship as a player and a coach there. So, yeah, I would agree that I found that an interesting descriptor of or answer or retort or rebuttal to what actually did happen.
Yeah.
And to me, that he didn't deny anything. He also kind of basically said that, well, he got better. And so it worked.
Who in the league currently do you think still has that approach? Like that hard-nosed football browbeat approach. Who in the league still does it that way?
I don't know if anybody does.
I don't think anybody does. I went around it this morning, and I'm like, now I'll be candid with you. Like, I don't know Raheem Morris's approach. I don't know that.
No.
So it's possible, but there are so many Kyle McVay disciples out there, and none of them have that style. None of them.
No, and I would go so far as to say
Pretty
that the
sweet
person
run there, by the way.
that was a nice Deontay Foreman. I like Deontay Foreman.
Yeah.
I'd go so far as to say that you would perceive, right, that the answer that would be Dan Campbell, but everything you've ever seen of Dan Campbell is the opposite. He is in your face tough, but like a lot of love, of loving the guys up. And
no, I used the Dan Campbell example this morning the exact way you just did. Like that's people would say him because he's a football guy, but that's not
exactly.
That's definitely not his tone.
No,
isn't that at all?
No.
So there aren't many of them. The other thing I thought of is how silly some of these coaches are with rookie quarterbacks. And I thought of Hugh with Bake and how ridiculous that was, some of that. And we see this, like there are still this thing of like not knowing how to handle a rookie quarterback. And the younger generation handles them better. I think Zach Taylor's a great example of handling them better down in Cincinnati.
Sure.
But, I mean, even Kyle with Purdy, like there's a lot of them where it's pretty good. But where they, instead of saying, hey, you have to be this, we'll make this so it works for you.
Yep.
There's more and more of that now. So it is easier. But there was a while where, like, how many quarterbacks were ruined just by obtuse coaches?
Oh, numerous. Too many to count, for sure. By the way, nice little pass rush there, little Zadarius Smith, as the Browns have had some nice runs. Good mix of the offense and defense. These are ones-on-ones right now, which you don't get to see a ton, which is fun to see right now, actually. No, I think you're right. But there's also the comments in this week. Brady just talked about how important it was for guys to be able to sit and learn and how valuable that is. So I think that I don't know if there's any right answer, and I think it's more of instead of there is one way to do it, I think it's much more about the individual, what their aptitude is, what the surrounding set of circumstances are. Do you have a good offensive line? Do you have some skill position talent that they can take advantage of? Do you are you running concepts, to your point, are you tailoring things to the player and what accentuates their strengths and limits their weaknesses? Or are you trying to say, this is how we do everything? Now, Kyle is probably a lot more, this is how we do it. And if you're good at understanding what he wants and executing it, you can be really, really successful. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo with Kyle and Jimmy Garoppolo without Kyle is very different.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. And I do think it's interesting that Brady said it's good to sit and wait while Manning said play him. Because that's their two experiences.
Yep.
Those two had those two experiences.
Of course.
So, like, your experience gave you this result, and so in your mind, it's the best experience to have. And I think the circumstances are so different. You think about, Stroud down in Houston. CJ played 3 years in an NFL-type system at Ohio State. So how much of a difference is that to go to what he's playing in Houston? Not much. He's got smaller windows to throw to, but it's a lot of the same stuff that he was doing in college. Bryce Young And by the way, still had talented guys to throw to, but put in a position to succeed. Bryce Young goes into a different system, but also a completely different set of circumstances.
Yes. And Bryce Young, quite frankly, should have been the one in a dome. Bryce Young should have been, those are things you needed to think about given his size.
You should have, yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It is wild. And, it'll be interesting to see. I am very impressed by C.J. Stroud. I like the way he conducts himself. I like the things he says. I like pretty much everything about him. But he also, there will be, and he's had in college great expectations, but in college you can have great expectations and just know that until you get to the BCS championship game or Michigan, every other game your team is significantly more talented than who you're playing.
C.J. Stroud's signature game at Ohio State is a loss to Georgia.
Right. That was his best game.
So when people have he is easily the most gifted player to play there at that position. Like, he's that guy, right, in terms of all of it.
Yep.
The headspace for it, see it, read it, throw it, all of it. Like, he had all of it. But also, like, down there, he's viewed in a certain way because he never beat Michigan. He never won the Big Ten, and his best game was one against Georgia in a loss. So he's missing that thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a totally inexact science with this thing, and it's really the circumstances that are around a young quarterback that certainly dictate it.
Yeah, they play a massive role, and for some quarterbacks, it's the ability to survive those initial circumstances so that you do not develop bad habits. And I think if you look at Justin Fields, there was no doubt that some bad habits were developed by him.
Yeah.
In that early period, we were talking about.
Oh my God, his first game here was criminal.
I mean, that was how do you come back from being sacked 9 times
I don't know
and
if he
having
did.
negative yards of offense? No,
I remember talking. I was at that game, and I remember talking to you before the game, and you were like, "This is not going to go well."
Well, I knew a lot of people on their staff, and
they were forced into playing him.
Their expectations were as negative as negative could be.
They're like, he's not ready for this.
No.
And they were forced to play him, and then, the rest is history on that. All right, we've got some backup guys going right now. Let's take a quick time out, and then we'll hopefully time this up to where we get some more one-on-one stuff with the ones going against the ones out here at training camp practice. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Boost your game day this season with Ballybet Sportsbook app. Place your first bet, $50 or more. You get $100, $150 back in bonus bets. Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Here's Deshaun out here. A little 7-on-7 work. Spin it around a little bit. Ooh, deep ball down the sideline to Judy. Oh, Jerry. Did he drop it? He bobbled it. It's right.
He bobbled it, but
it's
I mean,
perfect.
Perfect pass. He was open. We'll call it a catch for our purposes.
It was on the screws, and
It was
a beaut. She's a beaut, Clark.
It was
Jerry
a beaut.
Jerry's been so sure-handed. He was pretty pissed off about it. Just bobbled out of his hands.
He can get open too. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, separation not an issue for him.
Not an issue for
not
Jerry
an
Judy.
issue there. But some good work here with our ones.
Another 7-on-7. Wants another shotgun. Looks left.
He's
Looks
got
right.
it.
And he's going to have to bail, but he's got
there it is.
Zaire Mitchell-Payton, Browns leading receiver in the second preseason game.
He got dinged up at the end of the game. I'm glad to see him out here.
Yeah.
I thought he had Elijah here on the near side, on the.
I couldn't
post.
see.
A little bit of a flag route there.
RJ is a formidable obstacle to my
It's my
viewing
twin.
angle.
You don't besmirch.
That wasn't a besmirching.
You guys this close together.
It is wild.
It's wild to see. Wild.
There are still people in this building that get us confused, and it's great.
Well, I mean, you guys really.
I'll get a text from him.
I think when people are thinking about the wrong way, I think they're looking at the face or they're looking at the posture, and that's going to lead confusion. Look at the feet. RJ's feet are very normal in terms of the angles at which they are in relation to his knees, whereas Gibbe's gonna. I don't know, dude. Gibbe's gonna have a foot that is pointed straight in, and it's gonna. You're gonna say, wait a second, what's going on here? Oh man, we're starting back with some more joy.
Oh yeah. Everything you'd want. Everything you'd want there.
I think you could have locks like that. I think if you tried.
It's a lot of. I mean, I haven't had a haircut since May, and it's an awkward stage right now. It's okay with a hat, but then without it gets pretty loose.
Since May, wow.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Wow.
It's been a minute.
I'm gonna give myself a haircut today.
There you go.
Got to get ready for Seattle. I need like a few days. Once I shave it down, I need a few days of growth for it to be,
to get back to where
TV
you need.
ready.
I love when you have a fresh dome. Jameis with
tomorrow.
the completion over there. And we'll be back tomorrow with more of this fun as the final day of training camp will commence. The good news is the next level is going to take you through the next couple of hours, and they will continue to paint that picture for you. Thanks for listening, buddy. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.